All right. So everybody, if you didn't know, now you know. We have Greg Gator Andersen today, man. And dude, I'll tell you what. The last time I saw you fight, dude, it was fireworks, dude. It was just nonstop violence. Neither one of you guys really wanted to take a step back. Such a good fight, dude. Now, in that fight, did you know that you were going to get your hand raised at the end of that?
Yeah, I feel like I was confident enough to know that I was gonna get my hand raised. I would say my coaches definitely were too. Um, for how like sure they were that I won that fight, I was honestly kind of surprised. It was called a split decision, but just glad I was able to get it done in the end. And yeah, I felt like I did it enough to pull away the win.
Dude, yeah, and get it done you did, man. As far as going into like our first question, one that I've been really curious about, your nickname origin, Greg. How did you get or earn the nickname Gator? Is there a story behind it, and does it reflect your fighting style in the ring?
So someone that went to my gym about like a year and a half ago actually gave me that nickname, and it's from a movie. It's called The Other Guys, and yeah. Um, and the reason I got that nickname was because there's a scene with Will Ferrell, and I think he's like talking to his wife, and like he was like talking about himself in high school, and he was like saying like, "Hey, Gator, don't play no." So that's how I got that, and I would say it does reflect like the way I fight because it's just like just constant pressure, constant going forward, and just not playing any of it.
Dude, no, I feel you. And for the people that don't know, can you give us your signature hand gesture when you won that fight?
Oh, the salute. Yeah, I did that a lot. It was just, just
Oh, I was talking about this gesture.
oh, I can't see you. What is it?
You put your fingers like through your feet like through your hands. I don't know if
Oh, oh, for the camera, yeah. So
for the
that's
camera.
like a gator motion. Like that's, yeah, it's just like kind of representing a gator. I honestly didn't even remember doing that. It was just kind of like, it was all kind of a blur to me in the moment.
Oh god, so just like totally off the rip.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And so
Uh,
journey. Oh, keep going.
nah. You can go. Sorry about
Yeah, no, no issue. So journey to 2-0, right? So you're undefeated, right? And correct me if I'm wrong, but this is a K1 kickboxing match, or is it Muay Thai?
Yeah. K1 fight. This my last fight was 3 rounds. This will be the first 5 rounder I do, and yeah, it'd be the first title defense in my second fight.
Gotcha. And so from this last fight that recently just happened, what was the most memorable moment to you, and how did that shape you as a fighter?
Honestly, it was like the most memorable moment of that fight. I would probably say was just the like experience after. Um, just just going around, walking around with like the belt around me. Um, like just seeing like how much love I was getting from like just not even like my coaches and like my friends and family, but just like people that just witnessed it, just saying like how it was a good fight and that they were like congratulating me on the win. And yeah, I would say that was the most memorable moment. That was the most love I've ever gotten by far.
Man, and so you said that that was your first fight?
Yeah, first competitive fight, yes.
That is insane, man. It's like what kind of an opportunity, like I've never heard of like a first fight being for a belt. Like that's such a rare occasion, I feel like. So, but man, if anybody was willing to throw down for that belt and really earn it, man, it was you. It was 100% you, and that's exactly what you went and did out there.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like what that fight displayed is that I'm unfazed by pressure. No matter what you throw in front of me, no matter what problem that um, you may think that you maybe will give me, I'll be able to handle. And I feel like that's just like who I am, not only as a fighter, but also as a person too. I'm just ready for anything.
Sweet. And so I see the Ethos Martial Arts logo right behind you, man. How much have they played a factor in your journey as a champion?
They played like every factor in my journey as a champion, but they also played an amazing factor of just like who I am as a person and like how far I've actually come. Because like 2 years ago, I wasn't in the greatest shape mentally or physically, and they completely like did a complete 180 on that and just like turned me into someone who's like a lot better mentally, a lot sharper, um, definitely a lot more fit, and obviously, yeah, with this belt.
Dude. Yeah, no. And like, hey, Gators are green, the belt is green, and it seems like it fell like onto the perfect person, right? And so
Yeah.
moving on to like a title defense mindset, you're defending your Apex State Youth Featherweight Championship belt against Nico Jimenez. How are you mentally preparing for this high stakes fight, and what is your kind of like a game plan to keep the belt?
Um, I would say how I'm mentally preparing for it is just, I know who I am. I know what my skills are. And obviously, like we saw in the first one, how I was able to just go out there with, like, it being my first fight, um, it being a title fight, should even it being my birthday, even. Like, I was still able to go out there and perform. So that's who I know who I am. And I feel like I'm going to go out there a lot better. And to answer your question about the game plan, you'll just have to see on August 16th.
Dude, and I'll be there front row, man, to go ahead and look into it. Now, with Nico Jimenez, are you familiar with him at all? Like, have you been watching tape, anything like that, trying to get familiar, or are you just leaving that in the hands of your coaches?
Just going off of like what my coaches say, just however like they want to game plan it is like I just follow, and even with that, like I believe that's more than enough for me to get my hand raised in the end.
Hey, man, you have some really solid coaches by you. That sounds like a game plan in of itself, right? Just listening to them. So, good on you for that. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but you are 17, right?
Yes, sir.
Gotcha. And so at just 17, you are already a champion. What advice would you give to other young athletes dreaming of competing in K1 or potentially even Muay Thai?
Um, Even if like the process is slow, even if like you haven't fought yet, or even if like you're going into your, second, third, fourth, fifth fight, um, even like when it feels slow, just keep going. Every day is a new day, and just believing in yourself. For me, not only I believe in myself a good amount, but I know that like I'll be safe hands of God. So for me, that's all I need. But to anyone that's looking to compete, just keep going at it, keep showing up, because in the end, it's usually worth it.
Wise words from Gator. Would you say that your faith plays a huge part into your role as a fighter?
It plays a huge role into everything in my life, from when I wake up to what I eat to when I work out, go to the gym. From when I fight. Um, any worry or like any like concerns I may have, like God just completely takes away.
That's awesome to hear, man. That's actually a really good thing to hear. I like hearing from, the I'm actually a youth leader at my church, right? So I love hearing, when, young men are very in tune with God. That's always a really good thing to hear. So I'm glad that you've found that. Um,
Yes, sir.
mo- yeah, and so moving on to the next question, we got pre-fight like habits, right? Do you have any unique pre-fight habits or like kind of like how do I say it? Superstitions potentially that get you in the zone before stepping into the ring, whether it's like a song or anything in particular?
No, not really. I know that for my first fight, like, even then, like, just entire fight camps, or even when I'm out of fight camp, like, I'm really heavy on prayer. I feel like prayer gets me through the day, and that was something that was really strong. And even before I walked out, was just like any nerves or any like worries I may have, I just completely like let God take it away.
Hey, nothing bad about that whatsoever. It seems like the go-to move, so good on you for that one. As far as balancing life and fighting, balancing school, training, and a social life at 17, I would imagine it can't be that easy. How would you say that you manage it all while staying focused on defending your title?
Um, in terms of like social life, that was like, kind of something I had to like give up. But I'm able to to even just train and fight. I just went from like in-person school to online school just so I can go home, go on there for like, 30 minutes, an hour, get the schoolwork done, and just completely focus on training. That's kind of been the process for about 2 years, and I see no wrong in giving up some stuff to accomplish your dreams.
Hey, it's give and take, right? So I mean, you got to do what you got to do. Would you say that now that you're a champion, that you've attracted some attention in high school, like from your peers?
Um, I would honestly, I don't know because obviously I do my all my work at home. I know that I, like for my last fight, about like my friend and like about like 10 other people from the high school I used to go to, they all like watch the pay per view at home, but I honestly don't know how much attention it's really gained from like all of my peers.
Gotcha. Okay. And so moving on into our next question, we got future goals. You're already making waves in the youth division. Where do you see yourself in the combat sports world in like the next 5 years? Any big dreams or promotions you're eyeing?
I feel like it might be cliche, but like like everyone wants to be a UFC champion. That's obviously my goal, and I kind of started to like develop that goal once I actually like caught a real love for this, and um, that's kind of like it's was the end goal, is the end goal, will always be the end goal. Um, because I feel like that's just um like as like high as you can really get, and I feel like with this I'm already at a good start. Obviously got to work on the ground game a little bit, but once I start making noise in MMA, then I have no doubt that that'll happen too for the UFC.
Dude, no. What weight class do you hope to compete in the UFC?
I'd probably say 125, honestly. I'm a little short guy, so I feel like 125 makes perfect sense.
125, man. And so, um, I don't know if this is public news or anything, but I mentioned it in my last interview. But from what I heard through the grapevine, Apex is actually looking to do mixed martial arts as well. Could we potentially see you in a octagon?
Um, yeah, for sure. You could see me. It could be with Apex, Rough. It could honestly be with whoever. Just whenever I'm ready, I'm just ready to go out there and scrap.
Dude, sweet man. Do you have any like current idols that you like watching in the sport currently that you try to like maybe mimic their fight style, anything of that nature?
Um, Honestly, I wouldn't say idols, but in terms of like people who I watch, I'd probably say, since I'm a southpaw, I like to watch a lot of V's Edwards. That's like a big one for me. Even like when I first started, I feel like that was someone who, like, just was so good at just his stance. Like I feel like that's like one of like the best southpaws, honestly, in my opinion. Um, Obviously him, Dustin Poirier. Just looking at southpaws and just like a lot of the shorter guys for their weight class.
Okay. And any like 125ers that you like watching in particular?
Um, Ironically enough, I caught on to Joshua Van about like 2 years ago. So that was like a fun one that I'm glad I like caught on to early. So I've been watching him for the past 2 years and just his activity and um, just his like insane pressure. That's like something that I like to watch and entertaining, but also something that can also apply to my game.
Dude, yeah, no, Joshua Van, man, he's a bad dude. And hey, at 17, bro, I have no doubt in my mind that you're gonna be in the UFC one day, man. You're already perfecting your craft now at such a young age. And there's people that joined the UFC when they were like in their 30s. I look at Marcus McGee, who just fought. He's from Arizona. He trains out of the MMA lab. He was in his
Yeah,
30s,
for
I
sure.
believe, when he joined. So, dude, for you to be putting in work at this age, man, it's sky's the limit for you at this point. So keep doing what you're
Thank you,
doing,
sir.
100%. And so, as far as like, how do I say it? What do you believe gives you like the edge in the ring? Whether it's your speed, your power, your technique, or something else entirely.
I think that it's my heart. I feel like that Um, to really like succeed in this, you have to like have the biggest heart for it. You have to really love it. You have to not just like be addicted to winning, but you have to just be addicted to the process. You have to be addicted to the struggle. You have to be addicted to all of it. And that's like how I am, you know, whether if I'm like struggling in the gym or whether if I'm at like the highest point, like I like can be, that's I embrace all of it. And a lot of people talk about how they're like ready to like dominate or ready to kill, but I feel like it all starts as just like no matter where you are, just being willing to die in there.
Gotcha. And man, based off of the last fight I saw you do, you were 100% willing to die in there. I mean, man, it just felt like each punch that was thrown was just thrown with like the meanest intent, and and that's the way it should be. This is I always tell people, you play football, you play soccer, you don't play fighting. Like, there's some serious ramifications that come from not being on your A game. So it looks like you're taking it to the fullest extent, which is, I wouldn't expect anything less from you and the people that train you at Ethos, because it looks like you guys have a solid roster of fighters that we hope to have one day in Apex. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, for sure. And we do have a lot of solid guys in here. And even then, just like fighting with like some mean intent, like fighting's always been something I love to do, even since like second grade. You know, I got in a lot of trouble from like second grade, fourth grade, sixth grade, to, like freshman year, just for fighting. So my mom definitely got a lot of calls about that. It wasn't even just about like being angry or like hating anyone. It was just that I really loved to do it. Like whether if I won or lost at the time, like I always felt the same after, just because like fighting's honestly just like a beautiful thing.
Gotcha. So it sounds like it's just been engraved in you since like you were born. Like you this was
Yeah.
this is what you were meant to do.
Oh yeah, for sure. Even then, like just like fighting, like I feel like takes more than just like winging punches at each other, just swinging at each other, which is like how a lot of people view it. You know, it's like a very physical game of chess. Uh, a lot of people would say, and you know, I could say that's nothing but true.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. I mean, I've never, with each fighter that I've interviewed, I've always saw fighting more so as like you're not fighting to prove that you're tough, right? Of course you're tough. You're in the ring, right? Nobody that's not tough gets in there, right? But
Yep.
when you manage to get that W, it's like you won a game of chess. You outsmarted the person, right?
Hmm.
And so I I I think that more fans are picking on like picking onto the fact that you know combat sports is not just like a sport for like what they would call us like meatheads. Like, this is a
Yeah.
sport that requires intelligence, it requires heart, it requires so many things. And anytime that they need to think about those things, man, they have a great champion to look up to, which is you, man. So we're proud to have you as a champion, and we can't wait to see you
Thank you, sir.
defend the belt. And now, moving on to another question, we have a defining moment. Greg, what has been the toughest challenge you faced in your training or fights so far? And how did you overcome it to make you a better fighter?
The biggest like challenge I'd say like just training. Honestly, like the past year and a half has probably been like it's kind of felt just like repetition to me. It's kind of felt normal, but like I would say the first 6 months I was training was definitely the toughest because like that's when you really like want to quit the most because like you go in there and like you think you're a lot better at fighting than you are, and then there's people that have been training for like you know, maybe even just like a few months to like 10 years that just like sit there and just like whoop you in sparring. And that's like that was really demoralizing when I first got here. But um, now like that kind of like the same like sparring with people that like maybe a little bit less experienced to people who are far more experienced has just kind of been the norm.
Yeah, no, I mean, hey, the old saying goes, iron sharpens iron. So, based off of who I've seen at your gym, man, it seems like you have such a good like a community around you of people that just want to make sure that you're as prepared as possible. And sometimes
Mhm.
those hard sparring rounds, dude, those are the ones that count the most. You gotta try and make it as close to the fight, I would imagine, as possible, right? Like that same kind of stress and different things of that nature. Um, Now, when it comes to the Ethos training regiment, can you walk us through a typical day of training at Ethos Martial Arts Gym? Like, what's the hardest drill or session that pushes you to your limits?
Um, Honestly, I wouldn't I would say a lot of those drills and a lot of those sets push me about the exact same, like physically, it doesn't feel that great, but um, they're all honestly like equally as hard and um, just like going through that, you walk out and it's not like you feel a lot like worse physically. You feel like your conditioning got better, you got a bit faster, got a bit stronger. Like there's always a benefit to it in the end, and that's like even as soon as you walk out the door, you can feel that.
100%. And so, um, being your age, right, at 17, having to do school, what's the timing for you? Is it like get out of school at 2, train till like 7? Like, how does that work for you?
Um, just um, if I'm going to the gym early, usually I'll get the schoolwork done like after I get back or that night. If I'm going to the gym around nighttime, then I'll usually get the schoolwork done just really early in the day, around afternoon. It usually only takes like 30 minutes to an hour, so it's pretty easy stuff.
Gotcha, gotcha. And moving on to another question, your support system. So, who's been your biggest supporter, whether it be family, friends, or coaches at Ethos and beyond? And how have they helped you stay focused on this championship path?
Um, I would say just this the community we have at Ethos, like you can't even say there's like a biggest supporter. They're all like your biggest supporters. They're all like your number one fans, and even if you watch back my first fight, you could see in around like the third round, like the everyone like representing Ethos. I was like right behind my corner was just going insane, like from start to finish. They really bring the energy.
Oh no, I saw that. Like that whole back corner, dude, was just everybody going nuts. And that's always such a great thing to see, when you have that kind of community that's just very supportive of you. So I'm glad that you found that, and I'm glad that they continue to give you that support, man.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
now, um, handling setbacks, right? Every fighter faces some sort of setback, right? Whether it's in training or in competition. What's a moment that you kind of didn't get a result that you wanted, but you managed to bounce back from it, whether it was in training or sparring, anything of that nature?
Um, as the saying goes, like if you're the best guy in the room, you are in the wrong room. So I would say the mental approach is everything like towards that. So if I have like a setback during sparring, whether if it's like just me having a bad sparring day or like a me just like getting outpaced, outworked, or just even like just small little injuries, like it's just that same mental approach that stuff like that will happen. And plus, in terms of like sparring, I shouldn't be the best one in the room. So, you know, that's honestly a good approach to take to that.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, and yeah, no, the having people that like are on a different skill level than you is so important, I believe, especially as a champion. Like you have no other choice to evolve, right? If you don't, then the odds of staying a champion go down day by day, right? So you have to surround yourself by people that are of a little bit of like a higher skill gap, right? Now, youth championship pride. Holding the Apex State Youth Featherweight belt must feel incredible, right? What does this title mean to you, and how does it fuel your drive?
Um, Honestly, it doesn't. I wouldn't say it fuels my drive any more than it already has been. Um, Even with the belt, I want to go into this fight like acting like I'm fighting for the belt, acting like the belt's still vacant. It's still up for grabs. That's kind of what it is every time you go in there. Like when you're defending your belt, it's still just in the air and anyone can grab it. So I just have to make sure that I'm the one to do that and just taking the same approach to training, if not 10 times harder than I did my last camp. And something that I was really big on my last camp is it doesn't matter how big they are, how tall they are. I'm always train like they're 100 times the size they are.
Gotcha. So You're just looking to give the work to anybody that wants to come and get it, huh?
for sure.
100%. Gotcha. And so, post fight plans when you manage to defend your belt, right? What's next for Greg Gator Andersen after this title fight? Are you eyeing bigger regional or national titles? What's the move after this?
Honestly, that's gonna be something that I'm gonna have to talk about with like coaches, family, just like seeing what approach I want to take from here. Whether if I want to like wait until I turn 18, because that's obviously in like it's obviously in like what 7 8 months around there, if I'm not wrong. Um, so whether if I want to try and compete for like the adult championship, and like not have that youth in front of the state title name, or if I want to try and work on my ground game and like inch towards getting the an MMA fight. I don't know, that's to be something I have to talk about with everyone around me.
Gotcha. No, 100% agree. Um, so now, inspiration from Arizona. Arizona's got a growing combat sports scene, right? How does training in this environment at Ethos shape your identity as a fighter?
Um, how does it shape my identity? I feel like every time, like no matter if you're just coming in here for like a day like open mat, or if you're coming here for sparring or to drill, whether if you're in camp or not, it's the exact same approach. You're not going to do it partially. You're going to do it to like the full extent, and like you want to walk out of the gym thinking that like you did enough that day, and that you didn't like sit there and just um half do it.
Alrighty, yeah, no, definitely can agree with that. Kind of getting into more like lighthearted questions, like what besides fighting, what are your other hobbies? Like, what else do you like to do? Whether it's like playing instruments, video games, anything like that.
Honestly, I don't do that much out of the gym. I live and breathe this stuff. I go home and like I come home from the gym, and I just want to do more. This is all I really think about, to be honest with you.
True champion mindset, man. That's the kind of mindset you have to have as a champion.
For
And
sure.
what is like the victory meal?
Oh, that's a good question. Um, I don't know. I'm gonna have to see what I'm in the mood for after this fight, because I know that like I know last fight it was like it was my birthday that day, so like I went and like had some cake, had pizza, burger, just like really like some stuff you wouldn't necessarily eat in like a normal day. Um, but I don't know. This is a different time, so I feel like we're gonna have to see what I'm feeling.
100%, man. I know you guys have open up around 5 o'clock, so I want to give you guys some time to prep. But other than that, all the questions I've asked all amounted to essentially, we're coming to a close. Now, is there anybody you want to go ahead and shout out or anything of that nature?
First, I want to give all glory to God through any situation, through any struggle, hardship. I want to give big shout out to my coaches, my family, and I want to give a big shout out to my sponsors so far: Fight Scrub, Targeted Podcast, Dash Physical Therapy, and yeah, just all those people help make this fight camp a lot better. Like help take the stress off my back a little bit more.
This has been Greg Gator Andersen fighting out of Ethos Martial Arts. He is defending his title August 16th, 2 p.m. at Bull Shooters Arena. Please be there. It's going to be fireworks. We hope to see you. And other than that, you guys have yourselves a great one.